Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Let's take a look at the top stories. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba takes over as the Chief of Defence Forces. Budget estimates for financial year 2024-25 shoots to 58.3 trillion. While Dr. Kazimba Mgalu expresses concern over corruption, conflicts and insecurity in the country, and Minister Musaisazi tasked to apologize over disrespect of committees of Parliament. Hello once again. The outgoing Karamoja Affairs Minister, Dr. Margaret Kitutu, has handed over office to the incoming Minister, Peter Lokeris, and pledged to support him in the execution of his duties. The handover was presided over by the Prime Minister, Rhoda Ngonzi, at her office in Kampala.
While handing over office, Kitutu says that investigations and interdictions have stalled the implementation of planned activities in the region. Kitutu says that the Karamoja Affairs Ministry didn't implement activities for the financial year 2022-2023 and funds were returned to the Treasury.
I want to highlight especially the issue between agriculture and water. They are still fighting on who constructs dams, and this I think needs to be harmonized, because we have a case whereby one got money, put a dam, now water is also going to get money from GIZ to put in the same place.
Kitutu briefed the incoming minister that this financial year, Karamoja Affairs received only 4.88 billion shillings as compared to the past years where they used to get over 12 billion shillings. Kitutu, however, thanked President Kaguta Museveni for entrusting her with leading the development of Karamoja and whoever supported her in executing her duties. Kitutu pledged to support the incoming minister whenever need arises and even in Parliament.
I wish to thank His Excellency the President for entrusting me to lead the development of Karamoja region. I extend my appreciation to the Right Honourable Prime Minister. I will be in Parliament, and I also pledge my support whenever you come to Parliament. Thank you.
Honorable Peter Lokeris, the incoming minister, thanked President Kaguta Museveni for the love of Karamoja and initiating development of Karamoja since he came into power. Lokeris acknowledged whoever has played a role in the development of Karamoja sub-region.
For what you have been doing, I want to thank other ministers who have also been there. Everybody at least has contributed something. There is nobody who has left without contributing something. At times people say, so and so didn't do anything. Who tells you?
The Prime Minister, Right Honourable Rhoda Ngonzi, thanked President Kaguta Museveni for entrusting them to serve Ugandans and commended the outgoing Minister, Margaret Kitutu, for her passion to serve the people of Karamoja, and also welcomed Peter Lokeris to OPM.
For doing your work, for doing your best, and I want to thank the President for the trust he has put in all of us.
The Premier says that there is a need for mindset change of the people of Karamoja and also revitalize the Karamoja Feed Karamoja program.
We needed to continue doing the mindset change. The President last year organized a month's workshop, training workshop for all the leaders in Karamoja. And I happen to have been one of those who went there for training. The leaders were taken through a number of trainings, and I have a lot of hope that those ones now are ready for work.
Nabanja appealed to Lokeris to ensure that he coordinates the various non-government organizations operating in Karamoja to avoid duplication of work.
The Honourable Minister, this came from the First Lady. I already talked about it with you, that we need to coordinate the many NGOs that are in Karamoja. We appreciate their contribution, but we need to get coordinated. Correct. So please coordinate these NGOs so that we can focus them, refocus, so that we don't duplicate.
The handover follows the mini reshuffle by the President, where all the Karamoja ministers were dropped and new ones appointed to head the development interventions in the sub-region.
And General Karamoja has taken over the office of the Chief of Defence Forces and vowed to fight corruption and mismanagement of UPDF resources. General Muhoozi made these remarks at the handing over ceremony, which took place at the 4th Division headquarters in Gulu.
General Muhoozi, 49 years, who recently served as Senior Presidential Advisor and in charge of operations, is the 13th Chief of Defence Forces of Uganda People's Defence Forces, UPDF. Muhoozi replaces General Wilson Mbadi, who was appointed recently Minister of State for Trade.
I wish you the best of luck and God's blessings and daily guidance. I am readily and gladly available where and when needed to fill you in on other aspects of your assignment that may require further clarification.
The ceremony was presided over by Presidential Advisor on Defense and Security, General Salim Saleh.
I'm very grateful to have been chosen to preside over this function. I'm just like watching a film, which is very good for me, because the details, the professional approach, the angles at which you are looking at issues is very encouraging for us, the elders.
In his acceptance speech during the colorful ceremony in front of General Salim Saleh and senior officers, vowed to fight corruption within the forces.
UPDF continues to be the principal pillar of the Ugandan state. Ugandans can disagree on a lot of things, on politics, on how the economy is running, on inaction, on the scourge of corruption and so forth, but they all respect and revere the UPDF. UPDF is the central institution. I want to thank the outgoing CDF, General Mbadi, for all the work.
He lauded outgoing CDF General Mbadi for a job well done in building a modern and professional force. Muhoozi called upon UPDF troops to remain in their positions as defenders of African interests by defending emerging technologies. He received the instruments of power that include the Constitution of Uganda, UPDF Act 2005, UPDF Doctrine, UPDF Defense Policy, Establishment Book 2020-2024-2025, and the National Defense Policy. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
The newly appointed Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, has pledged to accelerate development in the Karamoja region through regulated mining practices. Drawing from his extensive experience of over 10 years in the energy sector, Lokeris expressed confidence in his ability to catalyze transformation in the region. He made these remarks during his official handover ceremony at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development.
Karamoja is one of the regions still lagging behind in development due to uncontrollable conditions. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive strategies tailored at the region's specific needs and circumstances. The newly appointed Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, has committed to sensitizing the Karamojangs about the existing mining laws to ensure they benefit from their natural mineral resources.
By going there, I will be explaining those laws to these people, which will benefit them. The law of local content, the law of value additions, all those which involve people to work and get more money for the area. So since I know the laws, in my job, I will be talking about those laws because we want benefits to the country.
With a decade of service in the energy and minerals sector, Lokeris emphasized the importance of his efforts in contributing to sectoral development. He urged his successor to approach their duties with diligence.
We made regulations who are very friendly to the investments. We said this is how it is. We have clarified all those from that time. then now we are able to really attract so many investors. You will see now when it was directed that we should really make a law where our people will do value addition. That is to involve so many people in job creation.
Among the achievements of the Ministry of Energy is securing a license for the Uganda National Oil Company UNOC from the Kenyan government to purchase petroleum products for distribution in Uganda. Dr. Rhoda Ngonzi highlighted that this move will help regulate petroleum prices in the country.
Very good news. We are so happy that we've been given this certificate, and we will begin seeing UNOC doing the business. What we expect is really for UNOC to gain experience, because very soon they'll be the ones that will be managing our products from the refinery. Secondly, we expect that the logistical costs will come down, and so would like to see the pump prices also a bit reducing, because we will now have gotten away from the system that was introducing taxes.
The newly appointed Minister of State for Mineral Development, Fiona Nyamtoro, expressed readiness to take on her responsibilities and pledged to address pending issues promptly.
We are going to start with the regulations that are up for review, which are already in the pipeline. Artisan mining is one of the aspects that I've been very passionate about, and I am glad it's already on table for Ugandans to be able to be protected in the different mining areas, especially the women and youth.
The Mineral Development Program, where we aim to increase
Now, State Minister for Finance in charge of General Duties, Henry Musasizi, has tendered an apology before Parliament on behalf of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Rhoda Ngonzi, for showing disrespect towards parliamentary committees. During the session to receive budget estimates for the financial year 2024-25, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, stated her intention to write to the PS Ngonzi, emphasizing the importance of respecting parliamentary committees.
Parliament has resumed its session to receive budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025 after a 2-week adjournment. The Speaker of Parliament had sent ministerial policy statements of different government ministries to sectoral committees. In her address, the Speaker underscored the significance of receiving budget estimates and relevant documents, marking the commencement of the intensive budget approval process.
Upon consideration of the reports of the sectoral committees, the ministerial policy statements, the budget committee will require to reconcile the ministerial statements with the budget that is going to be laid today and harmonize it, consolidate the budget estimates contained in the reports of the sectoral committees, and report back to this House.
Shortly after her address, Member of Parliament for Bukanga North, Nathan Byanyima, raised a procedural point expressing concerns over the PSST Ngonzi's statement that parliamentary committees have no role in budgeting. Other members of Parliament chimed in, expressing their dismay over the PSST's reluctancy to appear before parliamentary committees.
An apology, a sincere apology to this House. We cannot continue coming here and be demeaned. Members are running like chicken, headless chicken, going to the committees here and there. To appropriate.
The minister made the statement that we don't have the powers.
Okay.
Then later on he accused Parliament and lawmakers, saying that the distortion from the difference between the budget framework paper and the actual budget is always a distortion of lawmakers.
That Parliament has no powers to move money from one vote to another, because budgeting for this country is not our responsibility.
Speaker Among asserted that technical persons should not attempt to usurp the powers of Parliament.
Chief Whip, our deduction of 50%, shall we be paid salary? You even have the courtesy to put it in bold on a statutory vote.
chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Mwanga Chivumbi, informed the House that actual budget expenditure has never exceeded 45 trillion, while Nathan likened PSST's Gobi's stance to mere rubber stamping.
That's the essence of engaging Parliament in the very elaborate process of budgeting for 52, 54 trillion, when actually they are sure they will raise around 44, 45, and that is from borrowed money and revenue collection.
A budget of 57, 51 trillion, yet in actual sense we have never even utilized 50, but again we utilized 3% of 51. There's a problem.
And this is why I think that the amendment of the PFMA will help us try and tie the loose end.
During the ensuing debate, some members suggested summoning Ramadan Gobi to apologize. However, State Minister Musasizi extended an apology on his behalf and urged MPs to rectify the situation.
Whatever he said, wherever he said so, offended a committee of Parliament or Parliament in general, I would like to apologize on his behalf.
Thank you.
But this business of continuing belittling members of Parliament by a person, I beg to move a motion that this member, the PSST, should appear in person before Parliament and apologize, as the honourable member requested.
The Speaker concluded by affirming her decision to write to PSST Gobi, emphasizing the need for respect towards parliamentary committees. I'm Navka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji in Kampala.
And meanwhile, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has asked for equal distribution of resources during the budget process. Among claims some leaders have lobbied more than others to have their respective constituencies catered for, which endangers service delivery. This comes after the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development revised the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-25 to the tune of 58.3 trillion shillings, away from the 52.7 trillion presented recently while tabling the National Budget Framework paper. Some MPs questioned the priorities, which triggered the resource envelope to the whopping figure of 58.3 trillion.
Ministry y'ebyensimbi n'okuteekerateekera eggwanga eyanjulidde Parliament ekiwanda
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Have you packed more with Harbour jelly and Harbour foam? It will protect your skin from skin rashes. Morbid pack. It is a new improved Morbid Harbour jelly. So soft and smooth. It is a Morbid Harbour jelly.
Tell me, kids, the scent. Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Morbid Harbour jelly and Harbour soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Morbid all day confidence.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Are you planning or in the process of traveling abroad for work? Using irregular channels to find and travel for work abroad often seems cheaper and faster, but you risk being trafficked, mistreated, or forced to do work you did not agree to. Using proper channels is safer, offers more protection, and better access to support services when problems arise. Do not be deceived. Choose the proper channels. Always verify all information before traveling abroad for work by contacting the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, your local district labour office or DSOS office. You can also visit EEMIS website on eemis.mglsd.go.ug. This message is brought to you by the International Labour Organization with support from the Government of Switzerland.
This is still news tonight. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has asked for equal distribution of resources during the budget process. Among claims some leaders have lobbied more than others to have their respective constituencies catered for, which endangers service delivery. This comes after the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development revised the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-25 to the tune of 58.3 trillion shillings away from the 52.7 trillion presented recently while tabling the National Budget Framework Paper.
The budget cycle for financial year 2024-2025 is in advanced stages as the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has presented to Parliament a screaming figure of 58.340 trillion. The Minister of State for Finance, in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, reminded the MPs the key priorities, including peace and security, infrastructure development and investing in the people of Uganda, among others.
Investing in the wealth creation initiatives, including commercial agriculture, value addition through support to UDB, UDC, the parish development model, Emyoga agriculture credits facility.
The Parliament session witnessed the tabling of the Appropriation Bill 2024 for the first reading as the budget estimates were referred to the Budget Committee of Parliament for scrutiny. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, claims that some members lobby the committees to fulfill selfish interests of catering for their respective constituencies, thus affecting service delivery to Ugandans locked out of the budget process.
This time, no business of distributing roads, hospitals at committee. No business of distributing. Because people who are not in those committees tend not to benefit. Let's distribute the national cake to the whole country. And you people must be involved. And government chief whip, your ministers, keep off on a budget day. Then they start going to the cabinet and say, they removed my money. Where were you when they removed your money?
The Speaker was cheered by some MPs who also commented on the matter.
I think that as a country we have a limited resource envelope vis-a-vis the demands. So it's important that the budget prioritizes allocations to sectors that will lead to the economic growth.
The chairperson of the Budget Committee, Patrick Isiaji, told the legislators to always provide justifications of the need to fund projects in their respective areas and stop complaining after the budget has been passed.
And we shall have the report which is going to concretely mention the outputs, the developments, the resources, the innovations, all what are the outcomes, how many jobs can be created.
Over 6 trillion shillings has been added to the 52.7 trillion estimates presented during the first time when government presented the National Budget Framework paper.
Now you ask, with this huge budget, at least we should see an improvement on the citizens of this country. But really, what we are doing is not making us happy. Most of these funds, you normally see by figures, but it cannot be translated onto the livelihood of the community down there.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabenji, UBC News.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, has expressed his concern over the increasing incidents of land grabbing and insecurity within the country and neighboring nations. Kazimba emphasized that ongoing insecurity has led to a rise in the number of refugees seeking shelter in neighboring countries. He conveyed this message while delivering his Easter address to the nation during a press conference held at his home in Namirembe.
Since the celebration of Palm Sunday, Christians entered the Holy Week, which includes the commemoration of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ on Easter Sunday. As anticipation builds for the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Archbishop Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu expressed concern over cases of land grabbing in the country, including those targeting church land.
I was shocked by the behavior of some people in Kumi who were hired by the Reformed cult to carry sticks to church in a mob to block people's entrance to worship. This is totally unacceptable behavior. I appeal to the government to intervene with the local politicians in Kumi who appear to be fueling the conflict.
Given recent climate change impacts affecting both nature and humanity, Archbishop Kazimba called upon Christians to prioritize environmental conservation efforts, including planting trees.
We need to preserve and conserve our environment, but more so protecting our lands from land grabbers by planting trees.
Corruption remains a prevalent topic of conversation in the country, and Archbishop Kazimba did not hesitate to express his concern over its detrimental efforts on development.
And it is leading to destruction of our Mother Earth, and it hinders development. This is corruption. We should fight it. It deprives us of proper service delivery. May the risen Lord set free many in prison of corruption in every office.
Among other issues Archbishop tackled was the ongoing insecurity and conflicts outside the country, which have resulted in many becoming refugees in the neighboring countries.
As much as there is terrible fighting and war taking place in many parts of the world, I am equally concerned, especially in South Sudan, and Eastern DRC. We continue to receive and care for many refugees whose displacement seems very unnecessary.
Archbishop Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu conveyed these concerns while delivering his Easter message to Christians as they wait to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Come Sunday this week, Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Meanwhile, the Archbishop also has asked Ugandans to embrace the yellow fever vaccination exercise as directed by the Ministry of Health. Archbishop Kazimba says this will help to reduce on the increasing death rates and the spread of yellow fever in the country. Kazimba made the remarks during a press conference held at his home in Namirembe.
Yellow fever is transmitted through the bite of an infected mosquito, and the following are the signs and symptoms: rapid onset of fever, abdominal pain, diarrhea. In a bid to eliminate yellow fever from Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned to conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign in 5 regions, which include Greater Kampala, Masaka, Ankole, Teso, and Karamoja. The campaign will be conducted from 2nd April to 8th April, and the target person is aged 1 year up to 60 years. The key benefit of yellow fever vaccination is that a person gets 1 injection for lifetime protection. The yellow fever vaccination campaign will be conducted at all health facilities and designated outreach posts, which include churches, mosques, schools, local administrators' office, bus parks, landing sites, market areas. Appeals to religious leaders to mobilize their congregation to participate in the yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign in places of worship and at functions such as weddings in the community.
Holy Thursday is part of the Holy Week, a day of profound meditation on the priestly ministry, important for priests to prepare for Easter Tritium, marked by the Last Supper and enigmatic figure of Judas Iscariot.
Amina.
For these gifts we pray by sending down your Spirit upon them like the dew fall, so that they become for us the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. Take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. Ayi Mukama kubeera omuzigo gwo omutukuvu nga gwo guwadde omukisa ku lwaffe mu linnya lya Mukama waffe Yesu Kristo. Amin.
Yeetuga naye tetumusalira musango, tumwebaza bwebaza okulyamu.
A delegation from the Joint Intelligence Fusion Center from the Democratic Republic of Congo has visited the Uganda People's Defense Forces Mountain Division headquarters in Muhoti Barracks, Kabarole district. The delegation met with the Mountain Division and Operation Shuja Commander Major General Diko Lum and discussed military intelligence-related issues on Operation Shuja inside eastern DRC.
The Joint Intelligence Fusion Center main mandate is to gather intelligence, report on the war against ADF and other rebel groups operating in the Great Lakes region. It is estimated that Democratic Republic of Congo has 123 different rebel groups operating in the areas of Kivu, Rushuru, and Irumu provinces. Major General Diko Lum, the Mountain Division and Commander Operation Suja, welcomed the delegation and briefed them on the latest development regarding the Operation Suja.
The JIFC is an affiliate of the mechanism of the International Conference for the Great Lakes Region, ICGLR. They do the intelligence collection to guard against issues that arise, and this intelligence collection helps to formulate and approve facts that accrue within the region due to some accusations that come in the course of neighborliness, in the course of operations, in the course of armed groups that operate within the region.
Colonel James Katera thanked UPDF for its efforts of pacifying the eastern part of DRC.
Is an organization that was put forward by the 12 countries of the Great Lakes region for purposes of collecting information, dissemination, and because we collect information on armed groups, on negative forces. It was very interesting for us to come here so that we meet those who are fighting those groups.
In the meeting, General Diko Lum highlighted the numerous accomplishments of the joint operation between UPDF and FADAKA forces in the 4 sectors of the Operation Suja.
As a regional mechanism, it really looks at a strategic intelligence for the ADF because their mechanism works on all the Eastern Congo in terms of the many arms groups. It only has a strategic end state in terms of intelligence that is gathered to benefit the region, not only a specific country. So in this case, the Shuja only has intelligence which benefits the bilateral arrangement which involves the DRC and Uganda.
The Joint Intelligence Fusion Center members are Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Republic of South Sudan, Tanzania, Sudan, Zambia, among others. The center has its headquarters in South Kivu in DRC. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Minister for Security, General Jim Muhwezi, has issued a challenge to political leaders in Kanungu district to prioritize teamwork over petty divisions, emphasizing that such divisions hinder the district's development. Muhwezi embarked on a one-day district tour in Kanungu, during which he participated in the annual general meeting of the Kibimbiri Rice Farmers Cooperative Society factory in Kihihi.
The one-day tour by retired Major General Jim Muhwezi in Kanungu district commenced from Kihihi, where he inspected a rice huller machine owned by Kibimbiri Rice Farmers Cooperative Society factory, Kifrako. Subsequently, members of Kifrako convened at Gold Cottages for their annual general meeting.
It is the crop that has sustained many lives beyond Chigezi. We even export this rice.
A positive development to see people from different districts cooperating under a common venture like rice growing.
The meeting, predominantly attended by Kifrako members and stakeholders, addressed various challenges faced by the session, including mistreatment by local police.
I know government has supported them very well, and these rice growers, they are doing very well. They have a big circle, which is the circle that we have been visiting today. I appeal to the government that if they can add in more effort, add in more money to these growers so that they can be able to increase their growing and their output, it will be very good for our people here.
Among other issues raised were misuse of circle funds, which Minister Jim Muhwezi certainly warned against, emphasizing it is violation of the country's laws.
And it's a crime, it is theft, it's embezzlement, They are all under the criminal code, the penal code. So I was teaching them that they should fear touching money for these circles.
The delayed progress of government irrigation schemes in Kanungu was also highlighted, with Minister Jim Wes pledging to address the matter.
This irrigation scheme that is a mega that is coming, funded by World Bank, should be expedited.
Because of the River Ntunga source is not stable. The water flows sometimes in different way and loses the target of where they could get the water. But the Ministry of Water has promised to come down here and direct water.
He talked about State House introducing irrigation schemes, and none of which has ever worked. And it's really damaging the name of the office.
Regarding concerns such as access to markets, insufficient capital, seeds and pesticides, Jim Wes promised to provide assistance. Earlier, the minister, alongside local leaders, engaged with border operators, urging them to embrace circles.
But now I'm trying to encourage them to come together and form circles so that we can bring here Microfinance Support Center and support them, because we know Microfinance Support Center gives loans at a lower rate, and President Museveni encourages this circle.
Muhweza assured motorists that government is addressing the issue of property theft with the rollout of digitalization in the motor industry. He also donated 5 million shillings towards the border sector in Kanungu district. To local politicians, Jim Muhweza extended an invitation to prioritize teamwork.
It is important to unite as leaders, especially belonging to the same political party. Why should there be differences? If there is anything that needs to be resolved, there should be communication. They should sit down and talk.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
And 1.5-year-old Hashim Kugonza of Nyachibete Cell, Bigando Chigulia Division, Masindi Municipality, is due for open heart surgery in India. The parents of the baby boy are seeking 20 million shillings from well-wishers for the surgery.
According to Hashim Kugonza's mother, Noreen Nantali, aged 25, the charming baby boy started becoming weak a couple of weeks ago, which compelled her to visit Walabiyechi Medical Center, Masindi, who referred them to Masindi Main Hospital. Doctors from Uganda Heart Institute, Mulago, advised them to take the baby to India for an open heart surgery since they have better facilities, because they diagnosed a hole in the heart.
Bamukeberanga ayina ekituli ku mutima ne batusindike ugundi ebweru batusaba obukadde 25 okumulongesa mu nsi z'ebweru tusaba bazira kisa bonna bekikwatako President waffe Museveni, Mama Fina.
Natalie Noreen, the mother, told the media how she discovered that Kugonza was ill. On several occasions, Kugonza would hardly eat and play well.
Yatandika ku mbeera y'omutima nga wezezza emyezi 3 nga omutima gwe gukuba nga tegulinga ng'ogw'abaana abalala. Mutwalako mu main hospital Masindi. Tuvaayo ne tugenda mu Walabiyechi Medical Care Masindi Hospital. Ne batusindikako Mulago.
Kugonza Ahmed, father to the baby, calls for public help because doctors from Uganda Heart Institute referred them to India for open heart surgery, which involves a cost of 20 million Ugandan shillings. He called upon any well-wishers for the amount required for the operation.
Nemereddwa naye nsaba abaganda bange abali e Bulaaya, abali e Uganda, Canada, Australia, nga mwenna muwulira omulanga gwange Uganda wano, Mama Fina, mwana wange anduma ye first born, nsaba munyambe bannaaye sisobola okufuna sente ezo nze nganze sekinoomu.
Sister Agaba Janet, working for Masindi Main Hospital, say Kugonza Hashim delivered with complications known as congenital defects, which do not allow the heart to operate well.
By the time this baby was delivered,
it showed some complications that was like congenital defects. So like with time, as the parents went with this baby, it was confirmed it had some heart defect. Up to today, the condition of this baby is deteriorating, and so far the parents have struggled to take this baby, but all in vain.
Meanwhile, discrimination, inactive laws and ignorance among some individuals have been identified as contributing factors to girls with disabilities not pursuing education. This concern was highlighted in a report by various NGOs advocating for girls' rights to quality education, marking the closure of the Girls' Education Challenge project initiated in 2013 to support girls in achieving their educational goals.
According to the 2016 WBOS report, Uganda has 1.4 million people living with disabilities, constituting 12.4% of the population. Fatia Msenero, a senior sex workist with visual impairment and hearing challenges, shared the difficulties she faces.
For a person living with disability, of course, apart from the normal daily challenges, you're going to face a lot of criticism from people, diminishing and underestimating. You're going to be denied of opportunities because people underestimate your capability and abilities to do stuff.
Musenera affirmed her determination to achieve her goals of advocating for people with disabilities at various levels, despite her disabilities.
I see myself standing up for girls like me, standing up for girls in the world. I see myself on big stages, on global stages, speaking for my gender and speaking for my kind.
Esther Mulongo, also a senior sex student, faces similar challenges while using a wheelchair.
It has been quite challenging when the things are not, such stuff are not provided. There are those parts that's in the classes that are not easy to access and all that. But then, luckily, I have been provided with such.
During the closure of the Girls' Education Challenge project, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, represented by the Commissioner Sarah Bugosi, highlighted efforts to address the issue of low performance among students with disabilities.
The Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Education is planning for a meeting, a stakeholders meeting, where all issues will be discussed, and then we shall agree as Ministry of Education and the key stakeholders to see on how we move on to support the teaching and learning of all these learners with disabilities.
Faith Kembabazi, Director of Children at Risk Action Network, reported that over 10,000 girls have benefited from the project's closure.
We've worked with children off the street, we've worked with refugee children, we've worked with girls who have had babies or first babies or even two babies, but they also needed another chance to get into education. We've worked with girls who have dropped out of school because their parents didn't have any money to help the girls.
What we need is first to make sure that we have special needs teachers in all schools. And then we also need to make sure that the schools are accessible and safe, because if there is no ramp, a child will feel bad climbing stairs and
Meanwhile, numerous research studies have consistently shown that women are the most vulnerable group when it comes to climate change disasters. However, the majority of rural women lack a clear understanding of the meaning of climate change.
Salina Mirembe of Fridays of the Future Uganda stressed the importance of containing mass sensitization campaigns in local communities to ensure comprehensive understanding of climate change and its consequences.
Me as a young woman, we are the most affected, that we do all the kinds of domestic work at home. We move far distances to look for water, fetch water, and provide for our families. So I'll conclude and confirm that as a young woman and all the women and girls out there, we are the most vulnerable and most affected by climate change.
This message was conveyed during the launch of the book titled Feminist Analysis of the Impacts of Climate Change on Women's Rights in Uganda at Fairway Hotel, Kampala today.
Officially launched the Feminist
analysis of the impacts of climate change on women's rights in Uganda.
Christine Kaya, the woman member of parliament for Kiboga district, emphasized the urgent need to double efforts in tree planting to mitigate the climate crisis. She also highlighted that the current heat wave disproportionately affects women as their domestic responsibilities have increased.
Now that we have observed that it is like that, we need to incorporate them in all actions we intend to do. The biggest challenge they have is now property ownership. To have property that can enable them fulfill their roles is the issue. They need to have land. They need to have land to exercise some of these things. They need to have money to buy cooking materials. And they want the cooking materials to be energy saving.
Joan Akiza Musime, a senior program officer for gender and legal affairs at the National Association of Professional Environmentalists, NAPE, highlighted the use of ecofeminism as a remedy to address climate change challenges. Joan also pointed out that research has identified blind spots in some legal frameworks regarding women's issues.
And with the ecofeminist approach, we are coming up to say that women can come collectively to demand for their rights to land, to demand for their rights to natural resource use, to demand for their protection, and especially have equal rights that relate to social, economic, cultural, and political rights, where they have a say, where they have a decision to make regarding their natural resource management.
Uganda Bureau of Statistics has launched the National Livestock Census 2018-2021. The report reveals a significant increase in the livestock population compared to the previous census conducted in 2008. The report was launched by State Minister for Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Bright Ramirama, in Kampala.
And the pictures have been taken.
According to the findings from the National Livestock Census 2018-2021, there's been notable increase in various livestock population. Cattle population rose from 11.4 million in 2008 to 14.5 million in 2021, accompanied by a surge in milk production from 66.5 million to 3.7 billion liters annually. Goats increased from 12.4 million in 2008 to 17.4 million in 2021. Sheep numbers grew from 3.2 million in 2008 to 7.1 million in 2022. Chicken population expanded from 37.4 million in 2008 to 57.8 million in 2021. Rabbit population surged from 373,200 to 2.2 million. Beehive numbers increased from 747,000 in 2008 to 2.6 million in 2021. However, there were reductions observed in donkeys, decreasing from 143,670 in 2008 to 62,872 in 2021, and in horses, declining from 1,590 in 2008 to 14,000 in 2021. The State Minister for Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Bright Ramirama, commended UBOS for the findings, stating that they will aid in government planning and fund allocation for the sector.
National Livestock Census 2021 data is intended to inform government, local authorities, and other stakeholders in their planning processes. The statistical data generated during the census will be used as a basis for better informed decision-making regarding the allocation of scarce resources.
In terms of regional distribution, the Eastern region had the highest proportion of livestock keeping households at 28.7%, followed by Western Uganda with 25.5%, Central region with 22.1%, and Northern region with 20.1%. Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Amos Lugolobi, emphasized the importance of agriculture as identified in the National Development Plan 3.
Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has called upon universities to align their education systems with the national development agenda of the country. This encompassing Vision 2040 and the NDP plans to foster better development. Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Chrysostom Muyingo, conveyed this message on her behalf during the 14th graduation ceremony of Bisitema University in Busia.
Approximately 1,462 students graduated today with certificates, diplomas and degrees in various courses at Bisitema University in Busia district. Students, parents, guardians, university staff and well-wishers adorned the occasion with glamour, joy and contentment at the 14th graduation of Bisitema University.
Ijara Josephat, Kalibo, Hezekiah.
Minister for Higher Education Dr. Chrysostom Muyingo graced the ceremony on behalf of Minister of Education Janet Kataha Museveni and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. In her remarks delivered by Minister Muyingo, Minister Janet Kataha Museveni commended the university for its efforts in enhancing science and technology education. She urged the graduates to apply what they've learned and to be patriotic.
Continued growth of the postgraduate programs in practical fields puts the university in a much better position to contribute to research and innovation agenda of our country. I urge you to be associated with success by seeking mentorship from those who have made it in life. You must be humble.
However, Minister Kataha Museveni emphasized the importance of schools and higher education institutions aligning their education systems with the national development agenda.
We continue to remind the educators in
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Attention everyone, the Ministry of Health has planned to vaccinate all persons aged 1 year to 60 years old to protect them against yellow fever disease. The mass vaccination will take place in 53 districts in these regions: Kampala, Buganda, Teso, Ankole and Karamoja. Vaccination is free and available at all government health facilities and outreach posts in these regions. The vaccination campaign will take place from April 2nd to April 8th, 2024. The vaccine is safe, effective and free of charge and has been approved by World Health Organization and Ministry of Health. This message is from Ministry of Health with support from Gavi.
The second edition of the Lakoba Marathon is here. With the theme consolidating the gains in reawakening traditional schools in northern Uganda through sports. The marathon takes place on Saturday, the 30th of March 2024, starting from St. Joseph's College, Laibi, at exactly 7 a.m. For more information, call the number 0779 026710. The Lakoba Marathon, 2 years and growing stronger.
Future of Uganda, long live Laibi forever.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. the signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
And now in business news, the Uganda business community has joined the world to commemorate the World Consumer Protection Day with a call of sensitizing the public on the available use of digital platforms. This gathering, organized by COSENT, a consumer rights protection organization, brought together a diverse array of development stakeholders to address the pressing issues surrounding AI and consumer protection.
Amidst the growing influence of artificial intelligence in business transactions, COSENT, a consumer rights organization, is advocating for the mass sensitization of communities from being exploited.
Artificial intelligence is all over. It's everywhere. It's going in every sector. It's attacking every job. It's attacking our livelihood. So it's something we cannot ignore in this day and age.
The engagement attracted regulatory bodies including the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, the Uganda Communications Commission, among others.
As far as AI is concerned, we are on board. We can of course do a lot better. But again, as has been mentioned, we are developing standards under that sector.
This was aimed at awakening their responsibilities of educating the public on the emerging business technologies. Stakeholders in the business sector are encouraged to integrate artificial intelligence into their work processes for relevance and competitiveness in this dynamic fourth industrial revolution.
We have AI models which are doing market analysis, okay, to identify the trends and the opportunities which are happening in market. So those who are doing marketing, I urge you to get in touch with to try to look for these models, okay?
While artificial intelligence offers numerous benefits, it also poses significant challenges like ethical concerns, data privacy issues, and potential job displacement.
Legal, regulatory, and institutional frameworks we have in this country. We have somewhere to start as a country, but as a country we are investing law in implementation. So this is where we need, as a country, to invest in consumer protection, to protect the citizens, like where it is said, there is no national security if there is no food safety.
Beside the bad effects, artificial intelligence is a good thing because it enhances how we do things, brings in efficiency, it brings in inclusiveness. However, there are negative things, of course, like I said, misinformation, abuse, fraud and all that we are fighting. That is one issue. But we also know that to fight such an issue, you need to have an authentic communication device. One of the consumer protection areas, interventions we are making, is to eliminate what we call the fake phones in the market.
This engagement is guided by the World Consumer Protection Day theme of 2024, which is Fair and Responsible Artificial Intelligence for Consumers. Nahoho Rashid Maselede, reporting for UB.
And that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. We do return at 10 o'clock with more details. I am Rhoda Ngonzi.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
very good evening to you who is watching UBC TV. Thank you so much for joining me on New Health Chat. My name is Sophia Matovu. It's always a pleasure for you to join